legends that speak of an entity unlike any other. The purely horrific and macabre qualities of the legends have terrified many. It has no conscience, no remorse, and no prejudice. It stalks its victims relentlessly, eating away at their minds and driving them over the edge of complete and utter madness before finally ending their lives. This entity has many names, but it is widely known as the Slenderman.
He's sort of an entity that just kind of exists within your own mind. He kind of exists in his own plane, you know? He appears when you think about him, so he's kind of a product of your own thought. But, I don't know, there's a lot of theories that he's this being that got stretched out, a hangman, a mortician, whatever.
It seems to definitely be a more otherworldly kind of thing. It probably more of like an interdimensional thing, like anything Lovecraft would write, like the Cthulhu cult. Seems that same kind of thing.
All I know is that I'm basically terrified of him. I know he's a sentient being that can go through different dimensions. I know he's like 9 foot tall, and he only has he has no face, only a completely white head.
He's probably just an embodiment of whatever your worst nightmare is.
The legend of the Slenderman is widely known, but the origin of the legend is as intriguing as the entity itself. The Slenderman legend was dreamed up as an entry into a horror Photoshop competition on the Something Awful forums. The forum member, known as Victor Surge, placed an eerily tall figure standing ominously in photographs of children. He further elaborated on this by creating false police cases of missing children and their parents, pointing to this unknown creature as the culprit.
I think that somebody really, really smart started that legend. Somebody who knew how to instill terror into the hearts of the listeners.
You can definitely see why it would have such a grasp on it. Starting off with the ones where he's specifically going after children and all that, but it definitely has things that would give it a good hold in society.
Personally, they freak me out. I definitely think that I believe in stuff like that, so I think it could be true, or there could be some kind of insidious being that is walking around.
I don't know, I kind of like the idea that we kind of created him.
The Slenderman has been described as an abnormally tall, humanoid creature with no facial features to speak of. It has been reported by some to have extremely long fingers, or long black tendrils coming from its back. It has been said to do many awful things, but the most common theme is the abduction and subsequent murder of children. It reaches out to the targeted child, acting as a friendly creature before taking them. Horrified parents would find their children missing, only for the child's horribly mutilated corpse to appear several days later. Some parents have actually been said to have pursued the Slenderman in an attempt to recover their lost child, but sadly in their heroic pursuits they suffer a similar fate. It is also known to take over the minds of certain victims to make them proxies that sometimes do its gruesome bidding.
Alex? Alex?
If what he does somebody actually did to people in real life, I think would be one of the most gruesome serial killers ever to roam this earth. I know that for a fact.
I don't even want to think about that. I think that's one of the things that gives him such a scary atmosphere about him.
I think it's disgusting. No, I can't.
The horrific tales surrounding the Slenderman have become so popular that they have spawned a variety of media, such as video games. Another creation based on the Slenderman mythos is the much-acclaimed web series Marble Hornets. The tale centers on a man named Jay who has stumbled upon some videotapes previously owned by his missing friend Alex. The disturbing and mysterious nature of the tapes prompt Jay to investigate.
Alex, come on.
We don't have a camera.
Yes, we do.
Where did you find that?
It was in the closet. There's a tape already in it, but when I tried to watch it, it was messed up or something. I don't know.
That's probably just my old camera from college. I probably stuck it back in there when we moved. Just going to sell it.
But I thought we didn't have a camera.
Look, doesn't matter. I'm going to sell it. Just please put it back. Stop recording.
Fine, I'm not recording anymore.
You can still see the light.
Are you okay, Alex?
I'm fine. Just put it back, please.
You're in a really odd mood right now. Fine.
Get out right now. What is that? Jump out on the street. Get down to the street. Go. We'll be right behind you. Go.
You know, like the Marble Hornets videos, they say, sort of hint at, rather, that he was tied to a tree and the tree grew and it stretched him out and turned him into this kind of terrible forest-dwelling, spindly man. And, you know, others say that he's just this entity that is and always has been.
Many entertaining products have been derived from the mythos surrounding Slenderman, and many have long assumed the creature to be completely and utterly fictional. But there are European legends dating back 400 years that speak of a very similar creature that commits acts of the same evil nature.
Der Ritter, yeah, the German woodcutting. You know, there's a horrible spindly knight with the many arms that appears in a lot of like German etchings or woodcuttings or whatever they are.
What I know about the myth is there was these two little girls that went walking into the woods with their mother, and they saw Der Grossman or Slenderman off into the distance, and they were terrified. And when one of the little girls returned home, she heard a knock on the door, and it was supposedly the voice of her father, but it was actually Slenderman. And when she opened the door, her mother was standing there with the severed head of her little sister, and then she said that Der Grossman was coming for her, and then Slenderman slid under the door and then basically killed the little girl, which is one of probably the best short horror stories that I've ever heard.
The mythos surrounding Slenderman is a horrific one, filled with brutality and death. But it is a mythos that has spawned countless fan works and has an enormous fan base following it. It is a mythos that engrosses and entertains millions to this very day.
Well, I always like to leave some room for possibility, but I tend to believe in more humans as the monsters and not monsters in themselves.
No, I don't.
I mean, it just shows that the legend has been around for longer than people think. It just kind of made a good revival in the creepypasta and everything. It's like when fairy tales get a revamp. You know, it's just coming back, it's just popular again.
I definitely think there's a possibility that the Slenderman could exist. And, I don't know, whenever I have, like, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, or if I feel like there's something behind me or eyes on me, then that's kind of what I picture is something like Slenderman. So I think that even if he doesn't exist, he's in our imaginations, which is creepy enough.